What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
your boy Jake Bulls number 1-2.
And guys, week 2 is officially wrapped up. It was an exciting week. We are going to be getting into our power rankings. A lot of movement after week 2. A lot of teams moving up, a lot of teams moving down. Some teams staying the same, but not as many. Guys, follow us on our Instagram here. Give us a like, comment, subscribe. Anything you can do to help this channel grow, we would be forever in your debt. We are much appreciated. So, Jake, do you have anything to add before we get going? Oh, also, guys, really quick, stay tuned. In this Power Rankings episode, we are going to be covering Thursday Night Football, so stay around for the very end, or you can skip through the Power Rankings if you don't give a shit about that and you just want to know who we're picking for Thursday night.
Let's stick around, baby. So yeah, let's get into it. I got nothing left to say, but let's get in. A lot of movement. We got a lot of teams to cover. So let's start with number 32, Dane. Yeah, I got the Cardinals moving down one spot. I think they're a feisty team. They're probably going to switch. Honestly, probably for me, they're probably going to go back and forth with the Bears because the Bears are probably worse than them. I just think the way that the Cardinals lost, like giving up, it was just bad, and I think the only reason the Giants won that game was because how bad the Cardinals are. So yeah, that's why I got the Cardinals at number 32, dropping one spot. Who you got, Dan?
32 for me, first time in this position so far. In week 3, I have the Chicago Bears. I moved them down just because I don't have hope for this team. It's unfortunate. There are just some plays that Justin Fields makes that make me question whether or not he should even be in the NFL. He's very talented. He has elite talent, but the processing is not there. Bears are just off to a rocky start, and because of that, I have Chicago at 32.
Yeah, same reason I have the Bears at 31 is I just don't think Justin Fields processes the field. I think he's got weapons around him. I think he's got more weapons around him than Bryce Young, and Bryce Young actually looks like he can process and read defenses, unlike Justin Fields. Justin Fields is an amazing athlete, but I am not sold at all on his throwing ability and processing ability. So yeah, Bears fans, the ones who were talking shit, I think we were right. So yeah, Bears at 31.
31 for me, moving up one spot. I have the Arizona Cardinals. Even though they are 0-2, they have been more competitive, in my opinion, than the Chicago Bears. And they had a 28-point lead. They got things going in the game. They blew it, but they've exceeded my expectations because I thought they were just going to be atrocious. They're still very, very, very bad, unfortunately. And they lost Budda Baker now, so that's not going to help. But yeah, Arizona at 31, moving up one spot.
At 30, moving down one spot, I have the Carolina Panthers. I think the future is bright for Bryce Young. I just don't think there's enough on this team for them to win games, let alone win the division. Not happening. But yeah, I got the Panthers at 30.
At 30 for me, this is where I have Houston. I have them staying put. I like what I see from CJ Stroud, but other than that, injuries are piling up, can't run the ball, defense is giving up a lot of big plays. So yeah, Houston at 30 for me.
At 29, I have the Houston Texans. I have them moving up one spot, and not that they're particularly good, but I think CJ Stroud has some weapons around him. I think when his line comes back healthy, and they're a little scrappy, they're young, they're up and coming. I think they're a little bit better than the Panthers, so I have them at 29. Will they be there forever? I think Bryce Young probably has more potential than CJ Stroud, I would say. I'm not really sure yet, but yeah, I got the Texans at 29. You're muted.
Goddamn. 29, this is where I have Carolina. I have them staying put. I really like what I saw from the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, though, it's not looking pretty. There's just not enough weapons there, but they were competitive against a good New Orleans team. So yeah, I have them staying put at 29.
All right. At 28, I have the Colts staying put. I would have liked to put them up a little bit higher, but with the injury to Anthony Richardson, I just can't really put them past some teams. I think Anthony Richardson is my favorite to win NFL Rookie of the Year or whatever it's called. I don't remember the award, but yeah, he's just got to stay healthy. So we'll see if he comes back this week. But yeah, I got the Colts staying put at 28.
At 28, this is where I have Denver. They've looked a lot better offensively. Defensively, it's kind of flip-flop for some reason this year compared to last year. I think that they're doing a lot better because they're scoring points. I think the defense will be fine, but they are off to a bad start. So Denver at what are we on? 28? Yeah.
Yes.
28.
All right. At 27, dropping 4 spots, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. Just wasn't a pretty game. I mean, they were playing a top 5 team, in my opinion. It just wasn't pretty. And they're without 2 of their best wide receivers. Jimmy Garoppolo, it looks like Jimmy Garoppolo. You're just making some dumb throws at times. I think this team has potential to be good, potential to win 8 games, 9 games possibly. It's just they need to play a lot better than that, and they need to get healthy. So I got the Raiders at 27.
At 27 for me, I have. Hold on one sec. Sorry, I made one mistake on my power rankings. Bear with me, people. You will survive, I promise. But I'm going to keep talking. Okay, at 27 for me, it is unfortunate. I don't think that this team is here because of the way that they performed, but I have New England here. I have New England. They are off to a poor start, but they are very competitive in both their matchups, and they've played 2 good teams. So I think that they'll be a lot more near the middle once we get a couple more games into the season. I think that they're going to bounce back, but just because of the 0-2 start, I have New England here.
Interesting. All right, at 26, dropping 7 spots, I have the New York Giants. Even though they won, they look pathetic. They look absolutely pathetic. The only reason they won is because they played the Cardinals, to be honest. They looked atrocious for the first half of the game. Saquon's hurt now. I was not high on the Giants this year. I thought they would regress. I didn't think they would regress this much. So I don't know. And they're playing a tough team Thursday. So they're most likely will lose again. They're going to be potentially without Saquon for 3 weeks. And that's their number one weapon. And I don't know. I just don't like where this team is going. I don't like how they're playing, even though they won last week. So yeah, I got the Giants at 26.
All right. I can definitely see that. At 26, this is where I have Indianapolis. I have Indianapolis moving up 1 spot. It was a good win. I just want to see more. And, with losing Anthony Richardson, I definitely think that it's going to affect them a little bit. So we'll see how much it affects them. So, yeah, Indianapolis at 26.
At 25, I got the Commanders staying put. They won, but it was, a come from behind win. And they barely won, honestly. Like if Russell Wilson would have seen Jerry Jeudy wide open in the end zone, they would have lost this game, and I probably would have dropped the Commanders a little bit. But they won. I think they have potential to be a little bit better, but I'm just going to have them here at 25 for now.
Okay. I can definitely see that. At 25 for me, I have the LA Rams. I have them staying put. I think that they have been doing enough to be higher in the power rankings, but they are 1-1. I still am a little hesitant to see where they are, and they did lose, but I don't want to knock them. I don't want to give them too much credit for a loss, but it was a competitive match. So because of that, I'm not going to move them. I'm going to leave them at 25.
All All right, at 24, I have the Titans moving up 2 spots. Nobody really picked the Titans to win, I don't think, against the Chargers. And I think they, no offense, Dame, but I think they kind of exposed the Chargers a little bit. They beat them in overtime. It was a gritty win. I don't think this team is particularly good on the offensive side of the ball, but that defense and coaching, it's going to help them a lot. So, yeah, I got the Titans at 24.
All right. At 24, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. I had them at 22. I have them moving down 2 spots. It was an ugly loss. They are going to be without Devontae Adams, so we'll see how much that affects them. So, yeah, Las Vegas at 24.
All right, 23, moving up 4 spots. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man.
I have them at 23 as well.
This is 23, yeah. So, yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure you agree with me. They look good right now. Baker has this offense humming like a smooth engine. They are, Mike Evans is balling out. I'm interested because, knock on wood, I don't want this to happen. Let me be clear. But Mike Evans gets hurt every year. It's going to be interesting to see what Baker can do without Mike Evans if he gets hurt. If he stays healthy, shit, more power to him. But I like what this team, I like the pieces. It's really just all on Baker. If he can continue to play like this, they could win this division. There's not a doubt in my mind that they can win this division. They play the Saints good every time they play, and I think that's their toughest. Falcons are going to be tough too. But yeah, no, if Baker can play like he did, 2018?
Yeah.
I think he could lead this team to a playoff berth. I'm not shitting you. Which is crazy.
In that division, I think it's possible.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we had this team as probably our second worst team, in our offseason offseason power rankings. So I mean, he's shown a lot. He has shown a lot these first 2 games. I hope he continues with it.
Like I said, I have them at 23 as well. At 22 for me, I probably shouldn't have moved them up this much, but I think that this is kind of be around the range where I expect them to be. And I have the New York Giants moving up 6 spots. I think it was an ugly first game. It was
moving down.
Where did I have them before? Hold on. No, I had the Giants at 28 before.
Jesus.
Yeah. I remember you came at me. You're like, dude, that is way too low. But yeah, I have the Giants at 22 now. I have them moving up 6 spots. I think that the second half is kind of where we expect them to play. Again, it was against the Cardinals. I think it was a terrible game against Dallas, but I think this is more around where they're going to be in the ballpark of. So yeah, I have the Giants at 22.
All right, dropping 2 spots at 22. I have the Denver Broncos. They've played so much better than they have than last year. The offense, Russ was cooking week 2, and unfortunately, they did not get that first win. They are 0-2. I still think the potential is there for them to be maybe a playoff ruiner, upset kind of team. I don't think they're a playoff team yet, especially the way that defense played last week. They need to tighten some things up, but I still think they can beat some good teams. So, and it's so hard because I've seen Russell Wilson do it year after year after year. And just because he had a bad year last year, it's kind of staining him a little bit. But he's been playing pretty decent so far this year. So I got the Broncos at 22.
Okay, at 21 for me, this is where I actually have my boys, the Chargers. I have them dropping 5 spots. 0-2. They are on paper much better than the 21st team, but right now they're not playing like it. And this is a power rankings week to week. And just with the way that they're playing, even though they've been competitive in both games, they've blown the lead. They've blown the lead in both games. So because of that, I have the Chargers at 21.
All right. And 21, I have the other LA team, Los Angeles Rams. I had them moving up. 3 spots? Yeah, I had them moving up 3 spots. And honestly, they lost, but they look good. They look good. Matthew Stafford, I mean, he is a turnover machine. That is his one flaw. If he could just learn to not turn the ball over, he would be great. They have some young players, and I think that's my what's the word, like my restraint on them. Like I don't want to bring them up too much because they have such young talent on the team. I think they're the youngest team in the NFL besides the quarterback. So they have a lot of young talent, and can they continue playing at this level? Maybe. I don't know. From what I saw on Sunday, I watched this game very closely, and they look pretty good. So I don't know what they'll do, but they look pretty good right now. So yeah, I got the Rams at 21.
Okay, at 20, for me, this is where I have Minnesota. I have them dropping 7 spots. I think both the Chargers and Minnesota are better than this number gives them credit for, but with the way that they've both been playing, they just can't clutch. They don't have the clutch factor. They just can't pull it together in the end. And because of that, I have to drop them. They are 0-2, even though that they both have good rosters. It's unfortunate, but yeah, Minnesota at 20.
At 20, I have the Steelers moving up 2 spots. This is probably where I see this team, regardless what their record is. I think they're middle of the pack team. 20 is probably middle of the pack. I don't know what the exact middle of 32 is. What's 2 divided
16,
by 30?
16.
All right, so maybe a little lower than the Steelers, but once they win some games, once they get to that coveted 9-8 record and missing the playoffs, I'm sure they'll be at 16 for me. They did have a good game against the Browns though. So yeah, I got the Steelers at 20.
All right, at 19, I have Cincinnati. I have them dropping 9 spots. It has not looked pretty. I have 3 back-to-back 0-2 teams that should be much better than where their record
Don't blame you.
has. It was a good Baltimore defense. The offense just hasn't looked the same for the Bengals this year. And I know Joe Burrow is dealing with the injury, but I think that that's also why I'm dropping them, because Joe Burrow might miss time as well. And so because of that, what's this offensive firepower going to be? It's TBD at this moment. So yeah, Bengals at 19.
All right. At 19, dropping 2 spots, I have the Packers. And really, it wasn't, they lost, yes, but they were in that game. Probably should have won that game. But I think just other teams played. I think there's other teams that should be better than the Packers, to be honest. I'm still not completely sold on Jordan Love, but yeah, I also think this team's a middle of the pack team as well, especially without Aaron Jones. So yeah, Packers at 19.
All right, at 18, this is where I have the Packers. I have them just dropping 1 spot. It was a competitive match. The Falcons are better than expected this year, but I still need to see a little bit more from Jordan Love. I know that he's thrown the ball. He's been throwing touchdowns. Yardage may not be there. Aaron Jones is out. I just need to see a little bit more before I'm willing to say, yeah, he's the future of the franchise. I think that he's performing well. I think he's doing better than expected. And the defense is making big plays here and there. They had a close loss, but yeah, Green Bay at 18.
At 18, I have the Patriots staying put. And they don't have a win, correct? They're 0-2.
0-2.
Yeah, they're 0-2. But I think, to be honest, they might be the best 0-2 team out of the 0-2 teams. At least what I've seen. I don't know potential. They're probably not the best 0-2, but the way they've played in their losses has probably been the best. They've been playing really good defense. I mean, they played 2 teams who are in my top 5. Spoiler alert, hasn't changed. And they played them really well. I think they could have beat the Eagles. A little bit more, not as close a game against the Dolphins, but I think the Dolphins might have the number 1 offense this year if they can stay healthy. But I think the Patriots will get back on track. I think they're not the worst team in this division. I don't think they'll make playoffs, but I think they'll definitely play some upset to some teams this year. So yeah, I got the Patriots at 18.
All right. At 17 for me, I have Tennessee here. I have them moving up 2 spots. I am a little bit higher
Wow.
than you on them. I really like the defense. The defense got pressure against New Orleans. They got pressure against the Chargers. I think this offense is still a work in progress. I mean, against the Saints, who are a good team, they did struggle. Against the Chargers, they looked like All-Americans. So I think Ryan Tannehill has the potential. I think the offensive weapons are there. I really like Tajay Spears kind of coming up and becoming a new up-and-coming running back. So kind of excited to see where Tennessee goes. I think they're still in the bottom half of my power rankings, but I think that they can build some momentum off of this win. So yeah, Tennessee at 17.
At 17, this is where I have the Vikings. I have them dropping 1 spot. And you know, I know people are gonna look at this and be like, they're 0-2, they should be, you know, in the 20s and stuff like this. I still think the potential for the Vikings. This is I can't tell you all of my train of thought with all this. I just think, you know, I go by on how teams look, their record. There's a bunch of things, and I think the Vikings are still a decent team on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball could definitely use some work. I don't think Alexander Mattison is the answer, unless he steps his game up and does a complete 180. He is not playing good at all. And the crazy thing, like, I never really thought when they were going to Alexander Mattison in the offseason and they let go of Dalvin Cook, I was like, well, there's a downgrade at running back. I mean, we've seen Alexander Mattison, and if you play fantasy, you know that every time he's like Dalvin Cook went out, Alexander Mattison came in and just, he's got the starting role. He's got the starting role, and just really, maybe got a touchdown, maybe got like 80 yards rushing. Like, there's nothing really, and it sounds mean to say, there's nothing like exciting about Alexander Mattison. And if he can't hold on to the ball, like, yikes. But I think the potential for this Vikings team, I still think they could potentially win this division. They have the firepower to do it. Kirk Cousins is playing really good, except for that one bad interception that cost him week 1. I think he's playing really good. So I still think the potential is there. But if they lose again, or if they lose 2 more and they're 0-4, yeah. So Vikings at 17.
All right. At 16, I have Pittsburgh moving up 2 spots. I think this defense is great. I think the offense is still finding its rhythm. Najee Harris needs to get going a little bit more. I do have question marks about the offensive line, but with the way this defense is playing, especially in week 2, week 1, not so much, but week 2, I definitely think we're seeing the reemergence of TJ Watt. You know, his presence was missed last year with dealing with all those injuries. So yeah, Pittsburgh at 16, I think they're going to be a competitive team.
So dropping 8 spots, I have the New York Jets. Elite defense. I'll say that right now. I'll start out with the positive. Elite defense. They have an elite defense. But when their defense is on the field 90% of the game, there's only so much they can take. People get tired. That's why you need long, sustained drives to give your boys a break. I don't think Zach Wilson has turned it around. I'm sorry. I've seen Zach Wilson for 3 years now. I've seen it, and it's the same thing over and over and over again. That's solely the reason I am dropping them so hard. I mean, they did get smacked by the Cowboys, but I just don't think Zach Wilson is going to take them anywhere. I really don't. It's going to be such a bummer for the New York Jets, the Jets fans, but he's not it, man. It's very unfortunate.
All right. At 15, this is a hot take. I have Washington up here. I have Washington moving up 5 spots. It was a great comeback win.
Wow.
Yeah, they were down 21-3 at one point, and they came back and won. I think Sam Howell has his up and down moments. I think this defense has their up and down moments. But now that Chase Young is out there, I think this defense is going to take the next step forward. I like what I see from Sam Howell so far. I think he can continue to build and grow as a rookie quarterback. So, yeah, I like Washington at 15.
Very, very interesting. All right, at 15, dropping one spot. I got your boys, the Chargers. I still believe in them. I do. I mean, I like Justin Herbert. I really do. And honestly, this is probably where I see the Chargers ending the season, anyways. Probably just missing out on playoffs. I don't think they're gonna go 5-12 or whatever the hell you said. I if they do, that's gonna be sad. There definitely needs to be a change if that happens. You're just wasting Justin Herbert, another wasted year of Justin Herbert. I think they'll be fine. They'll probably win. They'll probably beat the Vikings, or they won't, and then they'll be 0-3, and then they'll probably go on a win streak. I think they're fine. I think the offensive side of things are fine. Defense, I don't know what the hell's going on. They, like you say it, like they do have stars all over the place, and it just doesn't click. It doesn't click together. And that's coaching, honestly. That 100% coaching. If you have all these stars and you can't get them to play as one unit, that's coaching. So I think Brandon Staley, this is probably his last year, and they probably, make a splash move, hopefully, in coaching. But yeah, I got the Chargers at 15.
Did you see that? Is it John or Jim that coaches college for the
Jim Harbaugh? He played for the Chargers.
Dude, Jim, there's been reports that Jim's like asking to speak to management and everything and the Spanos family for possibly becoming the next head coach of the Chargers.
I would back that shit. He played for the Chargers. I have one of his cards. I have his his rookie card or something. One of my friends gave it to me when he was the coach for the Niners. Dude, I'm telling you, he turned the 49ers franchise around from the dark days. He's a good coach. He's not everybody's cup of tea because he's like Pete Carroll. He's very college. He's a very college coach. But I think honestly, he's better. He's a definite upgrade than Brandon Staley.
100%. And I think he would get the right supporting cast. But moving on, at 14, moving down 2 spots, I have the Detroit Lions. They had this one in the bag. At least it felt like it. And then blew it. That pick 6 was brutal. I think Detroit's offense looked great. Defense gave up a lot of points. They are still a very competitive team. I'm still very high on the Detroit Lions. The Amon-Ra St. Brown injury is kind of dropping them a little bit, in my opinion. But we'll see if he misses any time or how much time he misses. So, yeah, Detroit at 14.
All right, at 14, dropping 5 spots. This is where I have the Cincinnati Bengals. And really the reason I'm leaving them so high is past history. I've seen this shit done before. I've seen the Bengals start slow. I've seen Joe Burrow have some stinkers of games. And what happens every year? They make the AFC Championship. So I don't want to drop them too far, but honestly, I don't think I've seen them look this bad in the beginning of the season. They look bad, very bad, very bad. And we don't know if Joe Burrow is going to be playing, and if he is playing, he's going to be playing on a hobbled leg. So I don't know, man. I do not know what the status of the Bengals is going to be this year. This might be a Bengals team that shocks a lot of people and not in a good way.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, so I got the Bengals at 14.
All right. At 13, the team that beat Detroit, Seattle Seahawks, I have them moving up 2 spots. I haven't been too thoroughly impressed with them overall, but I think that they showed a lot of resiliency coming back and beating Detroit. I think that it was a tough loss against the Rams week 1. Week 1, anything can happen. I was a little bit higher on the Seahawks coming into the season, and I think that they'll find their stride. Geno Smith looked a hell of a lot better this game than he did his first game. So I'm high on them. I think the defense can figure some things out. So yeah, Seattle at 13.
All right, at 13, dropping 5 spots, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. That performance in week 2 was pitiful. I think they'll be fine, but I know they don't give a shit about our power rankings, but in my opinion, they need some punishment. They need to learn their lesson, and that is why I'm dropping them. They're still, playoff contenders in the top 14, right? But that performance was bad. And again, if they play like that against the Texans, they are going to lose. I 100% guarantee that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bengals or Jags at 13.
All right. At 12 for me, this is where I have Cleveland. I have them moving down one spot in my power rankings.
Hey, so do I.
Um,
Jumping 2 spots.
Yeah, Cleveland's defense still looks legit. Like their defense is top notch. Losing Nick Chubb is going to hurt this team. I guarantee it will. I think Jerome Ford can come in and be serviceable. I need to see more from Deshaun Watson in order for this to be a playoff team. But I really like what I see from the defensive side of the ball. I hope that they can figure out on the offensive side of the ball. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So yeah, Cleveland at 12.
Yeah, that team has the defense. They have a good run game. They have a good O-line. They have decent coaching. Deshaun Watson, bro, you got to get your shit together. You don't look the same at all, unfortunately. All right, at 11, right? We're on 11.
Yep.
For my biggest jump,
dude, mine too. We have the same team.
Yeah, Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, baby, I have them moving up 10 spots.
Yeah, I have them moving 10 spots as well.
Hey.
Wow, what a coincidence. What
cool.
a coincidence. It's because we
cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. Yeah, the Falcons look great, man. And they win. I think I talked about it in another episode. They win in a way that's completely different compared to the rest of the NFL. They don't need to throw the ball. They have such a good run game. They have elite running backs. They have one elite running back and 2 really good running backs. And they do have passing weapons. Like I guarantee you, if a defense came in and stacked the box, boom, you got Drake London and Kyle Pitts flying open, even though they probably would still run it. It's that threat of those elite, because I think Drake London has the potential to be an elite wide receiver. It's just, he doesn't really get the rock. Kyle Pitts could be an elite tight end, doesn't really get the rock. So I like what the Falcons are doing, but yeah, they're playing really good.
Yeah, I like everything that you just said about the Falcons. I think the defense is stepping up too in big time moments when they need to. I think the offense is, like you said, doing things their own way. They're just a ground and pound type running attack and offense in general. At 10 for me, this is where I have the Jets. I have them moving down 5 spots. I think the only reason I have them still in the top 10 is because of that defense. And I don't like Zach Wilson. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but he did play the best defense, in my opinion, in the NFL right now, at least where it stands. And that's a tough tale and a tough task. So I want to see, I've seen plenty of Zach Wilson. I know he's going to turn the ball over. I still think that he can do better than what he did against Dallas. By how much, I have no idea. But because of that defense, I think that they can still be competitive in matches. And so because of that, I have them at 10.
At 10, moving up 5 spots, I got the New Orleans Saints. Defense was pretty good on Monday. Wasn't the best performance from Derek Carr, but he did enough to have them win. I don't think he turned the ball over if I remember correctly. But
I can't remember.
Yeah, so I like the weapons on that team. Once Alvin Kamara is back on the team, this team's going to be different. Like Alvin Kamara is the best player on that team. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch the Saints, to be honest. So yeah, I got the Saints at 10.
All right, at 9, this is where I have Jacksonville. I have them dropping 1 spot. It was a very ugly loss. I think that was a terrible performance by the offense all around, especially on Trevor Lawrence. I just really like this defense as well. I think that they're going to be fine. I think they're going to turn it around. We saw what they did in week 1. Again, it was against a lesser opponent, a division opponent, but I think Jacksonville's fine. I have them just dropping 1 spot at 9.
All right, at 9, moving up 5 spots because it was such a good win against a good team. I have the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, it was a good win against a good team. And in Detroit, it's funny. They had a absolutely stinker of a game week 1, and then they kind of showed what we all thought they could be week 2. I don't think the defense was, as good as it could have been, but it was the Detroit Lions. It's a high-powered offense. I'll let them off the hook a little bit, but the biggest takeaway from week 2 was that Geno Smith didn't look like a pumpkin. So, yeah, I got the Seahawks at 9.
All right. At 8, this is where I have New Orleans. I have them moving up 6 spots. I think this defense is great. Offense, like you already touched on when you did them in your power rankings, not the best performance from Derek Carr, but they are going to be getting Alvin Kamara back. They are utilizing Michael Thomas, which is good to see. It's good to see him back out there after 3 years. Chris Olave is the truth. And Rashid Shaheed, man, he makes big-time plays. So
Shaheed. It's like Key and Peele skit.
Yeah, and I like this offense. I do. I think that they just played a tough divisional opponent, and sometimes those divisional opponents, as bad as they may be, play you tougher than any other team. So I have New Orleans moving up 6 spots to 8.
All right, moving down 1 spot, I have the Lions at 8. I still think they're probably one of the better teams, and they were in a close game against a good team. The Seahawks are a good team. Let's be honest. It's going to happen. You can't win all of them. Hopefully they learn from it. And honestly, they were right there in the thick of things until a Jared Goff interception. So I think they'll be fine. They'll probably rebound. I forget who they're playing week 3, but I'm sure they'll rebound. So, yeah, Lions at 8.
All right. At 7, I have Buffalo. I have them moving up 2 spots. I think that it was a dominant performance against the Vegas Raiders. They didn't play the best game against the New York Jets defense, but Josh Allen definitely looked a lot better. The offense in general just looked a lot better, and the defense stepped up when they needed to. Defenses look good in the first 2 weeks of the season, and because of that, I have them at 7.
At 7, I have the Baltimore Ravens moving up 2 spots. To beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who are probably top 3 team in a lot of people's books, a top 2 team in the AFC, a supposed division winner. They've had that division's number for the last couple of years, and to beat them like they did, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Lamar looked a lot better with Mark Andrews. It's his best friend. I like the weapons when they're healthy. Zay Flowers, Devin Duvernay, Rashad Bateman. They can all get it going. Not really scared of the running backs, but they have such a good run scheme that I think they'll be fine. And they run through Lamar anyways. So as long as Lamar can stay healthy, I think sky's the limit for the Ravens, to be honest. So yeah, I got the Ravens at 7.
All right. At 6, that's where I have the Ravens. I just have them 1 spot higher than you. Everything that you touched on, I like Mark Andrews being back out there. The defenses stepped up in big-time moments when they need to. I really like the emergence of Zay Flowers. I think that he's great. Lamar, he's looking better. Lamar looks better than he did last year. So, yeah, because of that, Baltimore at 6.
All right, this one might be a little bit of a hot take. Hot. But they won, but I got them dropping down 1 spot to number 6. I got the Chiefs. They won, but it was an ugly win, and they have not looked good the first 2 weeks. They lost against the Lions, didn't really look good, and they didn't really look good against the Jags. I mean, I know they won, but Chris Jones came back. He made an impact, but the offensive side of the ball, it doesn't look the same. And, they did the same thing last year. It didn't look the same. They kind of start off slow too. But the thing, I don't know. I do not like their wide receiving weapons. I haven't seen enough. I mean, the best one is Travis Kelce, and, he's getting older. He's coming off an injury. So I don't know what the Chiefs will be this year. This is more of a question mark season than last year, in my opinion. And you know what? They'll probably win the Super Bowl again.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I wouldn't either. Damn it.
Yeah. At number 5, this is where I have Miami. I have them moving up 1 spot. I think Miami is balling out this year. They're firing on all cylinders. When the pass game isn't as effective as it is against other teams, they can run the ball. Raheem Mostert looked great. Definitely want to not use him the way they did against New England, because he does have a history of being injured. but I like what I saw, and Tua looks great, man. So yeah, Miami at 5.
All right. At 5, moving up one spot, I have the Buffalo Bills. Dominant win against a inferior team. It's what we all expect when these teams, when superior teams face inferior teams. Yeah, hopefully Josh Allen can keep it going. You know, a lot of people had him picked as the MVP for this year, so we'll see if he can play like it. But yeah, Bills at 5.
All right, at 4, this is where I have Kansas City. I don't have them moving up or down. It wasn't the best performance, but they did win, and it was against a good Jacksonville team. Jags didn't play well. I think Kansas City's defense played really well, though. I will say that. I also think Kansas City, like you already mentioned, they don't have the best receiving core at this point in time. They don't have the best weapons, but they do have the best quarterback in the NFL. And because of that, I'm not going to drop them too much for a poor performance, even though they did win. So I'm going to leave them at 4.
Yeah, they'll probably never drop out of the top 6, to be honest, unless they're like 0-12.
So.
At number 4, I have the Eagles staying put. Yeah, they won. It wasn't the prettiest win. And they don't look the same to me as last year. They don't look as dominant. So I got the Eagles at 4.
So I'm going to be a hypocrite after just saying I'm not going to knock the Kansas City Chiefs because they did win, even though it was an ugly performance. I did drop the Eagles 1, but that's mostly because my number 2, even though they both won and they're both 2-0, my number 2, I think, just looks a lot better overall. And because of that, that's why I switched them around. But I have the Eagles at 3. I think they're a solid unit. I definitely need to see a little bit more from the passing attack with Jalen Hurts and maybe utilizing his legs a little bit more effectively. But the defense, I think, will be fine. The defensive front's nasty. Secondary can pick it up a little bit. But yeah, Philadelphia at 3.
At 3, this is where I have the Miami Dolphins staying put. Another dominant performance. Like I keep saying it, I think they have the best offense in the NFL.
All right. At 2, this is the team that overtook the Philadelphia Eagles based off of performance. I have the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas's defense is just
I have the Cowboys there as well.
Perfect. And then that means we both have San Francisco 1 still. Dallas's defense is doing great. I think Dak's getting it done. CeeDee Lamb looks great. Tony Pollard looks great. So I'm going to have them at 2. And then your boys, the 49ers, even though it was a close matchup with the Rams, when the offense is humming, it's humming. And the defense stepped up big time in the second half against the Rams. That's the defense that we were expecting throughout the entirety of the game. But, you know, it is against a division opponent. The Rams usually do play at least one half tough, and then they kind of get out coached in the second half. But yeah, San Francisco at 1 for me.
Yeah, Cowboys for me, they look great. I just want to see them play. I'm very excited for that Week 5 matchup against the Niners. That's going to be a very good game. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. And for the 49ers, you know, a little bit more of the same. You know, not Brock Purdy's best performance by any means, but he didn't turn over the ball. He still threw for like 200 yards. The run game, I'll say this: if Christian McCaffrey can keep up this pace and stay healthy, he's going to win MVP. He's going to be the running back that wins MVP. I truly believe that. It's very hard to continue this pace, but I think if he does somehow, I think it's hard to not give it to him. Like he's averaging like 120 a freaking game so far. So, I mean, and he's definitely the 49ers MVP. This team's just a different animal with him on the field. Yeah, I want the defense to step up a little bit more though, but it was a division opponent. I'll let them off the hook a little bit. Hopefully they dominate the Giants. And that is our power rankings. We flew through that for the first time in the history of this podcast.
Surprisingly.
Usually we're at the hour and 20 mark when we finish, but we freaking flew by. But Dane, like you said earlier, we have our first predictions of the week. We have the Thursday night game. And like we were just talking about the 49ers, it is the 49ers' first home game against the New York Giants, who will most likely
be without Saquon.
Yes. I heard something he might play this week. He's questionable. I doubt it, honestly.
I doubt it
The way
also.
he had
I
to
saw that he was expected to miss 3 weeks earlier in
Yeah.
the week, and then they're saying that, oh, he might play. I think
The
that's
way
just
he
a
was-
tactic.
the way he had to be carried off the field, like he couldn't put any pressure on. Maybe if he like walked off on his own weight, maybe he could play this game, but he literally had to be carried off the field. So predictions. I'm going 49ers.
I'm going 49ers as well.
I don't think the Giants. I think it would be a lot more interesting with Saquon, but even with Saquon, I would still go 49ers. I think this is. I don't know. I
don't like the matchup for the Giants. I will say that. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to get much through air yardage. I think he might be able to do something on the ground game. I think he could scramble, maybe pick up some yards. But with his receiving options and the way that he's been passing the ball, at least through a game and a half, I'm not overly thrilled. I think that the defensive side of the ball for the Giants could be a little bit more competitive, but the 49ers have such a great offense. I don't think that it's going to be a great matchup for the Giants, unfortunately. I think the 49ers kind of walk away with at least a 10-point win.
Yeah. 49ers might be without Brandon Ayuk. He got a CT scan. Nothing broken on his shoulder, but honestly, they probably won't need him to win this game. Just run the ball. Debo,
McCaffrey,
Kittle, CMC. Probably, hopefully, sprinkle in some Elijah Mitchell. He's gotten like 2 carries in the first 2 games. Really don't want McCaffrey to be overworked, but yeah, I got the 49ers. You got the 49ers. I'm sure everybody but New York fans is going to take the 49ers here. So that is our Thursday night prediction.
Yes, it is. And guys, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. Stay tuned for our next episode for week 3 predictions. We're going to go Sunday through Monday. So stay tuned for that. It'll be dropping a little bit after this video, guys. Follow us on our Instagram here. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Just comment if you want to give us your opinions. We'll most likely reply back to you. Jake, do you have anything to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, thanks for listening. Oh, yeah. If you guys don't watch college football, watch college football this weekend. This is going to be like the best weekend of college football, probably all season. So watch college football. But yeah, good luck to your teams. As always, like, comment, subscribe, talk shit, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for listening. And as always, peace.